Most of the time, if you increase your risk reward, your win rate drops. Larger targets usually means fewer winning trades. After analyzing hundreds of my trades, I realized that I could push my risk reward further. Using one simple metric, I was able to double my risk reward on some of my pairs, and that's while barely influencing my win rate and keeping my profit targets exactly the same. In this video, I'll show you all the data I've collected, what it means, and how you can collect this data yourself. If you're new here, my name's Griff, and I've been trading since 2020. I've received over $100,000 in payouts since I first started trading, probably because I get so obsessed over my backtesting data. I execute a strategy with a pretty low win rate, but my average risk reward is 5 to 6R. A few years ago, I started tracking a statistic called maximum adverse excursion, and honestly, it's had a huge impact on my trading. So most people start off placing their stop loss above highs and lows, placing it with structure and kind of just what looks safe. But I've noticed that a lot of people aren't measuring, or maybe don't know how to measure, the effectiveness of their stop loss location. Maximum adverse excursion, or MAE, which I'll call it for the rest of this video, basically measures the number of pips that price moves against you before closing. And the reason that this is so good is because it helps you see which trades are worth holding. You'll probably notice that most of your winning trades have a very low MAE, and most of your losing trades will probably have a relatively high MAE. The way that you can visualize this is with a chart. You can get this within my FX book for free, or you can plot this data in Google Sheets like I'm going to be showing you at the end of this video. By the way, 70% of you watching this video right now aren't subscribed. If you're enjoying this breakdown, please consider leaving a subscribe down below. All right, so let's improve our risk reward. We do this by optimizing our stop loss using MAE. I've gone on my FX book, I found a couple of traders, and we're gonna take a look at their MAE chart, and we're gonna see if we can refine their stop loss in any specific areas. By the way, make sure to stick around to the end because we're gonna be looking at my personal MAE data. This trader has a big diversity of trades in his account. He's got little winning trades, which he's held from negative 9,000 pips, where he's only profited 600 pips. And he's also got winning trades where it's only gone 600 pips against him, and he's profited 4,000 pips. So that's great. There's a few losses here which are quite far outliers. He's got a trade here which he closed a negative 6,700 pips, which was the maximum the trade had moved against him. And this one's the same. So how can we actually use this data to improve our P&L? Well, let's take a look at where the majority of this trader's winning trades actually are. And you'll notice I can see a big group up here of winning trades. Most of his winning trades are above negative 2,200 MAE. So what this shows is that it's really not worth this trader holding any trades longer than negative 2,200 MAE. There's no point in him letting his trades run any further than that. So in this case, I'd say the optimal stop loss for this trader is probably around 2,500 pips, 2,400 pips, just to make sure that there's plenty of room for spread. And he'd also be losing out on all of these winning trades. So all of these winning trades here, which had an MAE of more than 2,500 pips, they would become losses. But here's the main thing now. All of these winning trades up here, which had an MAE of less than 2,500 pips, they're all going to be much larger winning trades. So sure, we're losing out on these winning trades. We're losing out on all the winning trades that pulled back further than 2,500 MAE. But we are increasing the size of our winners. So we'll make a much cleaner MAE chart. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, so we've got another example here. This is a really clean example because this trader has so many trades. Where are the majority of this trader's winning trades? I would say most of them are around 6 to 7 pips or less. Most of his trades are above my mouse right here. That being said, he does have a couple really big winning trades over here, which we would be cutting out if we reduced this guy's stop loss to 6 or 7 pips. So considering that, if we want to keep these 3 trades in here, which I think are probably quite big contributors to the P&L, I would say that this guy could probably get away with a 12 pip stop loss or less. And we'd be losing out on 1, 2, 3, 4, around 10, 11 trades. And he'd have kept these winning trades and increased their size. MAE is incredible for this. You can see how just looking at this one chart, we were immediately able to refine this guy's stop loss. 12 pips works best for him. We're increasing the size of his winners. Okay, so now I just wanted to give a really quick example on how you can track MAE yourself in trading. So let's say I'm taking a buy position right here. Our trade closes up here. Let's say we hold it and we close it up here. So the MAE would be the lowest point that price moved against us while we were in this position. And you can clearly see for the duration of these candles, the point where price moved against us the furthest is the wick right there. So I would take this, I would put it there, and this reflects a 5.7 pip MAE. You can either look at the stop here or this number right there. We definitely did not need a 20 pip stop loss in this case, but you can see it really wasn't necessary. You could have stayed in this trade with a 6 pip stop loss and doubled your risk reward. This video is sponsored by 5%ers. If you're looking for a prop firm, 5%ers is one of the oldest prop firms in the industry. They're super reliable. I recommend them in every video. I'll leave a link down below if you want to check them out. So now what I've done is I've exported all of my MAE and return data for all the pairs that I trade. So I've got AJ, AU, EJ, EU, GU, and NJ, and I've got the MAE and the return for each one. So I just went into my Notion where I journal my trades and where I backtest my trades, and I exported this. And then I've also got a long list here of all my trades combined. So I've got these 6 charts here and another chart here. And you can see I've got MAE up the left and return along the bottom. And now I'll just thought we can quickly go through and we can try and determine what the optimal stop loss is for each of these pairs. So you can see that all of my big winning trades, my 10% winners, my 20% winners, none of them really come any further back than around 5 or 6 MAE. And I don't really have any big winning trades above here. I've got one there, which is a 14.5% winner. But honestly, it might be worth cutting that out if I'm able to reduce my stop loss. So for AJ here, the optimal stop loss I'd say is around here. You can see I'd be removing all of these trades, but I'd be keeping all of these trades and these outliers as well. And that is with roughly an 8 pip stop loss. And for AU over here, we can do something similar. So let me just draw on AU. You can see most of my winning trades are below 10 pips. There is no reason for me to hold these trades to negative 15. It's just not worth it. Close all your trades out with a 10 pip stop loss. So 10 pips works best for AU. I hope you're seeing the pattern here now. So EJ is a bit trickier because we've got these outliers. So I'd say maybe a 12, 13 pip stop loss works best. But because we've got these trades down here, you could easily refine that to maybe 10 or even 8, depending on how big these trades get. And then we've got EU. EU's really all over the place. Ideal stop loss for EU based on my data is 12 pips. So we do not need these winning trades, but we're also removing a bunch of losses. Then lastly, not quite lastly, we've got GU. You can see 10 pip stop loss is all you need. I used to use 20 pips on this pair, so I've literally been able to halve my stop loss, which doubles my risk reward. You can see I could even potentially get away with like an 8 pip stop loss. And lastly, we've got NJ, where I personally use a 12 pip stop, which is around here. And you can see that I'm only really getting rid of one big winning trade, and I'm keeping all of these winning trades, which is great. Now, it's best to do this by symbol or by pair, but you can also look at a big chart. You can take a look at all of your data. If I zoom in, right, my head's in the way a bit. So let's see, where do you think the optimal stop loss is right here? Well, I would say it's quite clearly around 10 pips. There's a lot more density of winning trades over here than there is up here. So I'd say 10 pips would be good. I'm probably going to be massively increasing the size of these trades. And sure, I'm losing out on a few, but it's so worth it because all of these trades, huge bundle of trades, they're all going to have a larger risk reward. So I used to use 12 pips everywhere. But you can see on a bunch of pairs, I've been able to refine that down to 10 pips, 12 pips. I used to use 8 pips, 9 pips. So yeah, it's a great tool. By optimizing my risk, I was able to reduce my stop loss on GU from 20 pips to 10 pips without really impacting my win rate at all. So I was just able to double my P&L on that pair. And you don't have to sort this by symbol like I have either. You can sort it by session or pattern even. You can optimize your stop loss just for flags or just for continuations, whatever you trade. It can be as deep as you want it to be. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Make sure to leave a subscribe if you're new and leave a like too. Thanks for watching.